I'm Jason Bergquist. I'm the owner and founder of retirementofyourdreams.com. Today I'll discuss part 3 of my 3-part video series, How to Set Money Goals to Create the Retirement of Your Dreams. If you missed part 1 or part 2, you can find the links below and watch either one of those. Specifically, this video continues to be for those that are 59 and a half years old or older to establish their money goals and why. This video will guide you on what types of money goals you should set up to create the retirement of your dreams. We'll cover 1, Pam's path to a successful retirement, and a deep dive into 3 years of achieving and living her money goals. 2nd, thriving through challenges. How prepared retirement goals guided my in-laws 10 plus years into retirement and through dementia. Step 3, counting the cost of inaction, the impact of neglecting money goals in retirement. Let me introduce myself if we still need to meet. I'm Jason Bergquist. I joined this business to help people create the retirement of their dreams. I've been doing this for over 23 years. I've been through all the ups and downs of the market since 2000. My whole goal is to help educate people, help them understand how to set up their retirement and how to bring their hopes and dreams back into their lives. I realized this was my calling in 2010 when I was going through a divorce. And at that time, I was at a financial low. And I realized I wasn't practicing what I preached. So I committed right then and there to practice what I preached and go a little bit further in depth into my financial career. I even went to work at Merrill Lynch for a while and learned that side of the business. But since then, I've left and I'm an independent financial professional and I'm a certified financial fiduciary. All of this experience has allowed me to do what's in the best interest of my clients. Find out what your needs, your wants, your goals are, and help you accomplish those. And now I have a team of experts helping me figure all of that out, find the best options that are out there, and empower you to create the retirement of your dreams. Again, I'm going to cover part 3 of 3 on how to set money goals to create the retirement of your dreams. Let's jump into it. Number 1, Pam's path to retirement success. A deep dive into 3 years of achieving and living her money goals. So the story of Pam is so important because she's the model client. I'm not saying she did everything we said, but she went through the process. When we first sat down to talk to Pam, after she had done some research, and tried to figure some things out on her own, she sat down with us and said, I want to retire yesterday. Now, I get this a lot. A lot of people say, I want to be done working right now. I want to retire right now. I want to have already been retired. And sometimes we can make that happen. And sometimes we need to just look at the plan and figure out what the future looks like. But for Pam, who was tired of working, tired of being in the industry, just wanted to be retired yesterday. She said, but I think I'm going to have to work until I'm at least 59 and a half or 60. She said, I get that there are some reasons why I might not be able to retire just yet. See, Pam was only 55. And we're going to get to the reasons here in a minute as to what happens between 55 and 59 and a half. But her goal was to retire yesterday. She was sick of working. She had been in the hospital industry for 30 plus years. This was a conversation that took place before COVID. We'll talk more about the whole COVID situation towards the end of her story. But she implemented each of the steps of the money goals that we've discussed in this series. Pam understood it. We went through it and she put the plan in place and we made her retirement of her dreams come true. And she did retire at 55. Now that she's 3 years into her retirement, Pam has been able to do many of the things she wanted to do. So number 1, she was able to retire at 55. Many believe that they can only retire after 59 and a half if they need their money, like their IRA, 401k, those qualified plans, anything they've been putting together through their employer. Some of you need that money immediately to replace the income that you currently had in order to be able to retire. And this was Pam's situation. But she had realized and learned and educated herself that there was a 10% penalty that would be assessed on the funds that she pulled out if she pulled those things out before she was 59 and a half, because the funds that she had put away were basically all through her 401k plan. So Pam knew that rule, and she didn't think that she could retire at 55 because she needed funds coming in to cover the income that she was going to be leaving. So she had to convert her 401k savings into income that she could turn on immediately. That would replace that salary so she can live off of that. Now, with that conversation and with the math that she had done, she couldn't afford to take a 10% hit and be able to have the income she needed to be able to retire and maintain the lifestyle that she wanted to have, at least in retirement. After showing Pam a legal loophole, she could turn her 401k into immediate income, and she was able to avoid that 10% penalty while her husband, Dan, continued working. Again, this was super important because with that 10% penalty, she couldn't afford to retire. She put all of the money goals that we had talked about in place, and she followed the steps. We helped her be able to do that. We have given her the ability to go right then and there at work and give her 2 weeks notice. She gave that notice and we started moving her money, and we created her income immediately without a 10% penalty. And right then and there, she could check some of those things off her bucket list. Like she went on her dream trip to Hawaii. Pam has taken a trip to Hawaii and a few others with her girlfriends and sisters, which she couldn't do beforehand due to work and family responsibilities and the income it would take, or extra money that it would take. Again, her husband is still working, but now she's home because her plans have changed. We love reassuring people. Our Retirement of Dreams plan handles any changes and scenarios life may bring. So for Pam, things in her life did change. Her daughter and her grandkids need some help. Some family issues were going on, and she needed to be there to help her daughter with her kids. She was able to do that and able to help the grandkids. Pam clarified that a steady income and her time freedom allowed her to care for her family without having to figure out how to work around a job schedule or where the money would be coming from if she did have to quit to help take care of her family. Now it was coming in. She vacationed to places that were on her bucket list and now is able to shift her time to be there for her family. So the action steps here are to have this conversation, make this plan, put it in place, and follow that plan. Now, I mentioned COVID earlier. She was in the hospital and that's where she was working, but we were able to help her retire before the COVID scenario. And man, was she grateful to be able to tell us how wonderful it was that she didn't have to go to work during that time. So whatever your retirement looks like, if you're looking to retire at 50 or 55 like Pam, maybe you thought that you have to wait until you're at least 59 and a half to access those funds without a penalty. Or maybe you thought I have to wait until I'm at least 62 to be able to start Social Security to be able to retire. Well, once we talk about this and once you put the plan in place and you follow that plan, the retirement of your dreams can happen. And it can happen at 50 or 55 or whatever it is that you're looking for, as long as those funds are there and the plan is there to create that income. Okay, number 2, thriving through challenges. How prepared retirement goals guided my in-laws 10 plus years into retirement and through dementia. So now I'm shifting back to my in-law story and talking about the money goals we implemented for them. They are now more than 10 years into their retirement of their dreams. They did the necessary steps. They followed the plan. And over the past 15 years, our plan has allowed them to overcome the trials that have come up in their life and live the retirement of their dreams and handle the changes that have come along the way. Let me elaborate on that. I first sat down with them, roughly 15 years ago. And at that time, both of them were still working and they were both getting toward the end of their career. They had a few money goals they wanted to accomplish before retirement, and we started to put those financial plans in place. We started to make the changes. We started to make the adjustments, and they followed the plan. And because of that, they could retire when they wanted to. They could go on a couple's mission for their church, and they could spend 18 months in New Zealand on a service mission helping people. They had to have a plan in place for this because they worked 24/7, helping the people, and were not working and making an income. So the goals we had set were to help them cover the cost of paying for that mission. They didn't have a job at the time, but they were able to turn on guaranteed income through the investments we had set up to help them cover the costs at this time. And they did have to spend their own money to fund this mission trip for 18 months in New Zealand. And they were able to do that because of the plan we had put in place. This was a goal of theirs. They had this on the list. We knew it was coming, and we made those plans to make it happen. Now they're back from that mission trip. They've been home for, roughly 8 years. And in those 8 years, they've traveled to Egypt and many other places throughout the world. But over the past 2 years, things have shifted as they've aged and started hitting that 80-year-old mark. Sadly, my father-in-law started to have early onset dementia and Alzheimer's. And as this situation started to play out, we had to start making some of those hard decisions. We had to make some huge changes in their life, and we had planned for it. So now we started to implement that piece of the plan. Now they're 12, 15 years into the retirement of their dream plan. We had to start figuring out how we'd help take care of my father-in-law. We lived in Utah and they lived in Texas. So we had to figure out how to get them to Utah. We wanted to help bring them to Utah because here, their daughter, my wife, was able to help care for her dad and help my mother-in-law. So they decided to sell their home in Texas and moved here to Utah to be closer to family. And they even had the finances to purchase a new home in Utah. They moved to Utah, and now my mother-in-law has more help from her kids and grandkids who live close by. She could buy a home that she never imagined being able to buy. Now they've entered that next stage, which is bringing in help for my father-in-law, something we had made plans for all along in case this happened. We had this plan in place due to family history. And because it's well documented that 72% of people 65 years and older will have some sort of need for long-term care. Soon we'll probably have to move my father-in-law into a 24/7 care facility because it's getting too much for my mother-in-law and us to be able to help with. But all of those plans are in place. All of those steps are there. We know when the finances will be at their most significant value. We know when they're going to need those highest payouts. We know how to use the long-term care pieces that we put into place all those years ago when that need arises. It's been a long road. There's been some pushback on some decisions, but we've made those decisions together. And they're reaping the benefits of being able to have taken those trips, retired, made a move, purchased a home. How many 78-year-olds could buy the most expensive home in their life at this stage? I'm sure only a few. But because we put the plans in place, and because we accomplished those plans and followed that plan, they've been able to live the retirement of their dreams. Now we're in those slow go or no-go years because of their physical state. We made these plans before they retired, and they followed the plans in retirement. Now we can take care of the things that are coming up. Most of us will have medical issues become one of our most considerable expenses in the future. And so you want to make a plan for that scenario because it's likely coming. Okay, step 3, counting the cost of inaction, the impact of neglecting money goals in retirement. There's a cost to inaction. Could be the most costly mistake you ever make in your financial life. When we work with people, we plan how, when, and where. What we'll do to create the retirement of the dreams. We often start having these conversations in our 20s, 30s, or 40s. But you need to take those steps. You need to put the plan in place, or you need to follow the plan that we already have in place. People are still in the same place when we meet 5 and 10 years later. But there's a different conversation when you get older. When you're younger, your financial planner is helping you grow those assets. When you get older, now you're taking those assets and trying to turn those into income, right? We're talking about distribution. Distribution is about helping you ensure that you never run out of money as long as you or your spouse lives. That's what our experts specialize in here at Retirement of Your Dreams. How to turn your assets into guaranteed income so you never outlive your money. And yes, it's great that you're working with an advisor now. Yes, we want you to grow your assets during your working years. That's why you're putting money into it. But we must start discussing coming down the mountain. We need to talk about the second half of your financial life. We call this second half the retirement red zone. The retirement red zone takes place 5 years before you retire and 5 years after. I even recommend you look into this scenario as early as 10 or 12 years before retirement. Maybe not just the 5 years before, if possible. 5 years isn't too late, but the better prepared we can be, the more successful our plan will be. We have clients coming to us in a panic that they got laid off or are forced out of work younger than they had made plans for. We want to have a plan in place in case those scenarios happen for you. And we need clarification and understanding of what your investment should be doing for you. Sure, it's great you've got a 401k at work. And sure, it's great that you're getting a match. And you want to be able to take care of as much free money as possible. But most people don't realize there's probably a better option, like a Roth version of their employer plan, or a Roth version of their personal investment plans, or the differences between taking care of taxes now so you're not paying more taxes in the future. I know that whenever I ask a client if they prefer taxed money in the future, or if they want as much tax-free money as possible in the future, of course, 100% of the time, the answer is, I want as much tax-free money as possible. Those are the tweaks and the changes we can make right now in your plan before you retire and get more tax-free money for you. So the action step is creating your plan right now. There may be some steps that you can take that you haven't talked about or looked at because of your age or finances, but we'll at least know if we put that plan together when to take those steps. When is the best time to do that? So to recap, what we covered today in part 3 of 3, how to set money goals to create the retirement of your dreams. 1, Pam's path to a successful retirement. A deep dive into 3 years of achieving her goals and living her money retirement of her dreams. 2, thriving through challenges. How prepared retirement goals guided my in-laws 10 plus years into retirement and through dementia. 3, the cost of inaction, the impact of neglecting money goals in retirement or setting those goals and creating a plan to accomplish those goals. So now that you know why money goals are so important and why you need to set those and how crucial they are for your retirement, and you learned about Pam and how she's been the ideal client and made this possible, how she's been able to live and do what she wants here in the first few years of her retirement. Secondly, my in-laws and their story about successfully planning for over 15 years now to have the retirement of their dreams and even having a plan in place for the expensive side of the medical costs living through dementia or health. Now they're 10 plus years into their retirement and they have the finances to handle the increasing medical costs. And then the cost of inaction. Now is the time to act. It doesn't matter what age you are. We can do some things now, or at least start a plan that we can be implementing. You know the steps and the time frame when you'll put these in place, and to follow those steps, we'll know when that plan is going to come to fruition for us. And then you'll be able to talk with us as distribution experts to put the things in place so you can always have the money that you need and never outlive it, no matter how long you live. So this is an excellent time to invite you to request a free retirement of your dreams call to learn more. Click the link below and we can walk through the steps with you to help you through them. We've done this thousands of times with lots and lots of people. So we can help you with your money goals too. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. So this is the end of our money goals series, which covered step 3 of my retirement of your dreams blueprint. Tune back in next for our next series, money protection, step 4 of my retirement of your dreams blueprint. And you'll be very interested to see what I mean by protecting your money in retirement. In the meantime, watch my free video to discover my 9-step retirement of your dreams blueprint by clicking below. Thank you for considering your retirement of your dreams as your financial partner in your financial journey. What was your biggest takeaway from this video? I would love to hear from you. Please scroll down and let me know in the comment section below. I'm Jason Bergquist, committed to helping you achieve the retirement of your dreams.